Let me ask you something, and I want you to think about this carefully. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there? Or searched for a word that used to come naturally and it just wasn't there? Most people brush it off. I'm just tired. It happens to everyone. But what if those moments aren't random? What if they're signals? Your brain quietly telling you something is wrong with what you're feeding it. Here's what almost nobody talks about. The brain doesn't age at the same speed for everyone. Two people at 60 can have dramatically different cognitive function. And a major factor isn't genetics. It's not luck. It's not even medication. It's food. Specific compounds in specific foods have been shown in peer-reviewed studies to slow neuroinflammation, rebuild synaptic connections, and even stimulate the growth of new neurons in adults. Yes, new neurons. After 50. Today I'm giving you 10 of those foods, not a generic eat healthy list. These are foods with specific documented effects on memory, focus, and mental clarity. Stay to the end. Number 3 is something most people eat without knowing it's actively repairing their brain. And number 7 will probably surprise you. Drop a comment right now telling me what city you're watching from. I read every single one. Blueberries contain a class of compounds called anthocyanins, which cross the blood-brain barrier. Once there, they reduce oxidative stress in the hippocampus, the region responsible for forming and storing memories. A clinical trial published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who consumed blueberry powder daily for 12 weeks showed measurable improvements in memory tasks. The mechanism isn't just antioxidant protection. Anthocyanins appear to increase BDNF, a protein that promotes the growth of new brain cells. Frozen blueberries work just as well. A cup a day is enough. Your brain is roughly 60% fat, and a significant portion of that fat needs to come from omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA. After 50, the body becomes less efficient at converting plant-based omega-3s into DHA. That means you need the preformed version, which comes directly from fatty fish: salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, herring. DHA is a structural component of the neuronal membrane. When levels drop, signals travel slower, and the brain's ability to form new connections degrades. Research from the University of Pittsburgh showed that adults with higher omega-3 levels had larger hippocampal volume, which directly correlates with better memory. Twice a week minimum. 3 times is better. This is the one most people eat without realizing what it's doing to their brain. Egg yolks are the richest dietary source of choline, a nutrient the body uses to produce acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most directly linked to memory and learning. Alzheimer's disease is associated with a dramatic decline in acetylcholine activity. Studies show a significant percentage of adults over 50 are chronically low in choline, meaning their brains are running short on the raw material needed to maintain memory circuits. 2 whole eggs gives you roughly 300 milligrams of choline, about 55% of the daily recommended intake. The yolk is the point. Don't skip it. Among all nuts, walnuts are unique. They're the only nut with a significant amount of ALA, a plant-based omega-3, combined with polyphenols that have direct anti-inflammatory effects in brain tissue. A study from UCLA found a strong correlation between regular walnut consumption and higher cognitive test scores in adults, with the effect most pronounced in those over 55. Walnuts also contain melatonin in a bioavailable form, which supports sleep quality, and poor sleep is one of the fastest ways to accelerate cognitive decline. A small handful, about 28 grams, 5 times a week is what the research supports. Spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, they all deliver a combination of nutrients for aging that you specifically need: lutein, folate, vitamin K1, and beta-carotene. Rush University Medical Center tracked over 900 adults for nearly 5 years. Those who ate 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens per day had the cognitive function of someone 11 years younger than those who rarely ate greens. The key compound is lutein. It accumulates directly in brain tissue and protects neurons from oxidative damage. Most people associate lutein with eye health, but the brain contains more lutein than any other organ except the eyes. 1 cup cooked or 2 cups raw daily. We're halfway through. Leave a comment with your city. I want to know where you're watching from. It takes 2 seconds. EVOO contains oleocanthal, a compound that enhances the brain's ability to clear amyloid plaques, the same plaques associated with Alzheimer's. It also protects the integrity of the blood-brain barrier, which becomes increasingly permeable with age, allowing inflammatory molecules to reach brain tissue. The critical distinction is quality: extra virgin, cold-pressed, used raw or at low heat. Refined olive oil does not have the same compounds. 2 tablespoons per day on salads, vegetables, or drizzled over food. This is the one that surprises people. Cacao, in its minimally processed form, is one of the most potent sources of flavonols that act directly on cerebral blood flow. A study published in Nature Neuroscience found that flavanol-rich cocoa consumed over 3 months improved performance on memory tests that typically decline with age, linked to measurable increases in blood flow to the dentate gyrus, a region of the hippocampus particularly vulnerable to aging. The threshold is 70% cacao or higher. Below that, the sugar and milk content offsets the benefit. 1 to 2 ounces, 3 or 4 times a week. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, crosses the blood-brain barrier and directly reduces neuroinflammation, which is now considered a primary driver of cognitive decline, not just a side effect of it. A double-blind study out of UCLA found that adults who took bioavailable curcumin twice daily for 18 months showed significant improvements in memory and attention, with brain scans revealing lower levels of amyloid and tau protein deposits, both biomarkers of Alzheimer's. The catch is bioavailability. Combining turmeric with black pepper increases absorption by up to 2,000%. A teaspoon of turmeric with a pinch of black pepper in food or warm liquid daily. The gut microbiome produces roughly 90% of the body's serotonin and communicates directly with the brain through the vagus nerve. After 50, microbial diversity in the gut typically declines, and that decline is associated with increased neuroinflammation, mood instability, and cognitive fog. Fermented foods, kimchi, kefir, plain yogurt with live cultures, sauerkraut, miso, reintroduce beneficial bacterial strains and support that diversity. A Stanford study published in Cell found that a high fermented food diet increased microbiome diversity and reduced inflammatory markers in just 10 weeks. These aren't supplements, they're food, and the effect is systemic. Green tea contains 2 compounds that complement each other precisely for cognitive function: L-theanine and EGCG. L-theanine produces calm alertness. It promotes alpha brainwave activity, the state associated with focused attention without anxiety. EGCG inhibits the enzymes that break down acetylcholine, the memory neurotransmitter. A large prospective study in Japan following over 1,000 adults found that those who drank 2 or more cups of green tea per day had significantly lower rates of cognitive decline over a 6-year follow-up. Matcha delivers a higher concentration of both compounds than brewed green tea, 2 to 3 cups per day. Here's what I want you to take away. None of these foods work in isolation, and none of them work overnight. What the research consistently shows is that a pattern of eating, built around these specific compounds maintained consistently over months, produces real measurable changes in brain structure and function, not marginal ones, significant ones. The brain is more plastic than we were taught. It responds to what you feed it. You don't need to add all 10 at once. Start with 2 or 3 that are already easy to fit into your routine. Blueberries in the morning, a handful of walnuts in the afternoon, green tea instead of a second coffee. Small, consistent choices compound over time, and so do the results. If this video gave you something useful, share it with someone who needs it. And if you haven't yet, drop your city in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where you're watching from.